I love the exploration of deep human themes and resonances on part of this new album from Once Human. And it's still early days of me in terms of introduction to their work. As I've been saying for a little while tonight, this is I'll call it a Once Human night in terms of gauging a first introduction that oftentimes, as many of you know, if you've consulted my music coverage before on this channel, that's the oftentimes manifested operation that follows a collaborative introduction. That's where I started with Once Human, a part of their credits to vocalist Lauren Hart through Camelot. Her efforts there on part of the Shadow Theory and her two appearances with respect to the Phantom Divine, Shadow Empire, and Mindfall Remedy. But I was quite elated at what I heard, especially as somebody who has been a devout metalhead of many years in terms of first preferences in the music world, and with music, I'm just a devout connoisseur. I've been for a number of years. It amazes me how fulfilling of a fellowship experience music offers, especially in the first introduction territory. Once Human qualifies as well in that, but I love how we can come together from a variety of perspectives as well, whether we be fresh listeners or knowledgeable, right? I'm sure there are a number of you who approach Once Human that are advancing me in terms of your familiarity. They've been around for a little while, and maybe some of you that are approaching as well from a fresh perspective respect. Maybe you're like me and you approached Lauren Hart through Camelot, and you're sort of taking the journey with me, continuing your approach with her. But it's been fun to entertain their work thus far. You know, I noted it immediately because the first introduction I have is so strong, and 3 tracks in off the Scar Weaver album, I'm having a great time. On vision, creativity in the works, vocal delivery, ambition in the lyrics and the theming, I'm very impressed. Especially on that last piece. I'm coming off of Erasure, and the scope on that one is really interesting. And the theming again with this album surrounding, I'd say, human tragedy to different respects, broadly speaking, definitely is carried on quite well with Cold Arrival. At least I'm seeing it's a general theme from the 4 tracks I've gathered for a selection with you. Cold Arrival, if you look into the background of it, I'm sure this will be a piece that sticks in people's minds. I haven't looked at it in depth in terms of the lyrics yet. That'll be a first introduction we take together. But this story is it's a tribute of sorts to someone named Jared, who I understand was close with the band and passed away in 2020. So this song is dealing with, for those of us who are left behind in life, we carry on that feeling of separation and misery and sadness and grief, right, with death. Because, death itself universally is a tragic thing. I think I'm safe in saying that this is a very relatable concept for everybody, right? Because most of us have dealt with, somebody that may have been close to us, whether they be family, friend, or acquaintance, someone we knew from work, or maybe another facet of life, right? We've all had people in our lives that have, passed away at unexpected times and due to unforeseen circumstances, perhaps. For whatever reason it might be, death is a universal tragedy. And this song explores that. So I'm sure for anybody who maybe, because there might be some of us who are approaching the song, and maybe not necessarily me. Well, I don't know. I've had a couple scares recently that maybe being a case with some people that I've known. But thank goodness not yet. But I've dealt with, death before in my life. And the grief process, the reconciliation of someone's life story in context to how you reflect on that person and the time you spent with them. I love catharsis in music when it's offered. And for a song like this, I would imagine there is an easy road of access for connection. I myself deeply appreciate catharsis in music. I'm sure many of us do, especially in the rock scene. And I'll tell you, many people in my personal life never understood why, and they still don't probably, though, I don't care, why I push so hard into rock and metal. I appreciate its authenticity and its bluntness. And songs like this are dealing with very resonant themes, right? It's music. It's the reason I love music so much as an art form, because of that creative expression, its capability. It's just so beautifully exercised and limitless in some ways. And the artists that I've graced, I've said many times, I do consider myself an anomaly in life, and that's in large respect to my social circle, which there isn't much cohesion on in terms of groups that are mutual listens. I know Once Human isn't. I don't say that in disrespect. They should be. And I do try, perhaps if I can, to inspire paths forward for new listeners. Maybe you yourself are someone that will share such a story upon hearing Cold Arrival with me. But maybe you can say the same as maybe how you journeyed to Once Human in the beginning. I don't know. All our stories are perhaps different. Once Human is another beautiful asset to add into my library of names that I'm sure will long regard. And a song like this, I would imagine will stick in a lot of our minds. Cold Arrival, great name, by the way. I'm excited to hear more. As I've been saying, 4 tracks is what I've picked currently as a selection. Doors open for more as far as I'm concerned for the future. Really interested to humor this one, though. Hang on. That's the wrong video. I almost opened Erasure again. We already heard that one. That song's good. All right. Let's do the new one, though. Here we are. Cold Arrival. I would imagine this is a beautiful tribute to Jared. Adventurism in the score. The journey on the guitar work. That's impressive. Oh, I like that def. And as I said, the mobility of this group and where they go. There's such a strong degree of variance I find quite attractive. I'm just taking in the wording. Notice that melodic influence. Again, that intersection on the unclean. I love that about Lauren. It's so individual and strong. Perfect sentence. That was a nice line delivery. Really great storytelling. On lyrics, this is a particularly strong one. Those guitar intersections. And this one, again, it's just an interesting plug-in. The creative interruption, but one that it sticks with you. This is a piece that will linger for sure. Nice key choice on the Arrival line, by the way. It's different from what I expected originally. I like how both kinds of scales down. Because at first I thought maybe it should go up on the final Arrival. I like how Lauren chose not to. Ah, that line. Still. That is a creative tribute. You know, how many times do you see, well, I know there's been groups that have done tributes in the metal scene, but one of such force. I mean, we think of, you know, maybe tribute numbers or songs that are done in memorial or in remembrance, and they're usually maybe along the softer lines, a lot more somber. But it's understood, right? It's a sign of respect. And yet this song, it doesn't lose that edge and that force of what once humans established as an identity for themselves in the metal territory, especially on Lauren Hart's vocal regards. That song exhibits a lot of strengths the other pieces have, individually. But the line work on that, the storytelling, Deeply cathartic and resonant. Sun on your face is gone and haunting me. All the ways that you'd alleviate your heart, your head. I love the vocals again. That line, I can't get over how good that is. You radiate part of a soul that won't let you fade away. I love that line. Where was that other one? It's so vicious when young life expires. Isn't that true? And isn't that just beautifully phrased? You know, it's one of those phrases we think like, oh, you know, we've said that to ourselves in different wording. But you hear it like that, and it's just so potent. Deeply cathartic song and energy and strong delivery on the music. I love the key choice. The pattern as well with the guitar insertions to mix up at least some of the lines for like a bit of a breath space worked perfectly. That song is tight. It's interesting though in its delivery and its path. One of the lines, I mean, the arrival, as I said, with the cold arrival utterance. I love how the song, because she lowers, right, on the, when she has arrival, on the vol part, she's lowering down. Sometimes you'll see maybe with artists, they'll scale up, right, and they'll go to the next note, or like a sharp or whatever above. In this one, she doesn't. She resists that, and she keeps it monotonous, maybe that's the wrong word, but she streamlines it. There's consistency. It's really interesting to investigate that and to consider it, especially on departure points from other like-minded work. It's just a fascinating tribute piece. Very creative one, certainly for the metal scene, but very impressive on delivery. And everything I love this about Once Human. There's so much dimension with their work and exploration that you're seeing all these points manifest individually. And I'm just only 4 tracks in total with their works in consideration. I've not yet looked at their back catalog. I'm just going off of Scarweaver, just a selection. But each piece is exhibiting its own individual presences that are providing nice deterrences and exploration to capability on vision and execution. But each piece does not lose that core strength in the metal essence, what's been dictated by each member, right? I'm part of this group, whether they be the general band in terms of percussion work or bass or guitar stuff, or Lauren Hart and her vocals. Just the delivery, though, it's so funny to me to look at a tribute piece and be like, we're going to go with unclean vocals streamed, in terms of force. But this taps more, again, like I said, in that melodic balance, right? Because she can play around. You start to hear, especially on the chorus sections, oh, man, the delivery. I can't say it enough that your heart, your head line just sticks with me. The changing on it, the deviation, the variability. Perfect choices to make a tribute number that sticks in my mind. It's individuality. And I'm sure in application was a great tribute for Jared. Deeply cathartic song, and I do think it touches on the idea, of death being such an unexpected sadness in life, and deep misery and a hurt in that processing period. This song taps into all that quite well and sufficiently. It's beautiful. And individual lines make this one stick out in my mind that take it away from that territory where some of our songs might float into, we've dealt with, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to upper art, but necessarily, but you know what I mean? We're talking about a song where it's like, you're dealing with the theme of death and the guilt that, the people left behind and the grieving process, that's, all those emotions are coming up. There might be some familiar adages that are offered that come across as overlapping from one song to another that become commonplace in language construction versus something that takes on, again, a bit of fresher breath, like you radiate part of a soul that won't let you fade away, or that other line I mentioned, it's so vicious when young life expires, or my vision's strong in my denial. I love lines and the exploration here and how it's so individual. It's a great song. And again, the name, Cold Arrival, it fits so much with the essence of death. It's a great choice. And it fits in the energy of Scarweaver quite well. I love this first introduction. 4 works in total. Fabulous. I'd love to hear if the opinion is shared down below as well. Maybe it's not. Music is a subjective, preferential experience in how we entertain it, as audience members. But I would love to hear what your thoughts are in terms of your own experience and your point of approach. Longtime fan, first introduction. I hope for a mixture. I know for some of you, you'll fit both respects. I'd love to hear down below. And I welcome the company of either dynamic. I'd love to hear about it down below in terms of your thoughts on Cold Arrival, or generally of what we've offered with Scarweaver. As far as I'm concerned, as I said, Camelot paved the route, but I knew I would love it. This is normal with collaborative artists, right? You start with one, you funnel down to others. Lauren Hart impressed me immediately. I can't wait to hear more. As far as I'm concerned with Once Human, and again, she's part of another group in terms of current lineup. I've been attributing this as well in the past, that I did look into in terms of gauging track selections, and they haven't really said anything currently in terms of the new lineup, some older stuff, because she is a part of, I think she came on board with them like I forget when, it was a couple of years ago, fairly recent. I will keep an eye open in case anything comes out from them. Again, I forget the name of the moment, but I will attribute that in post, as you can see. But as far as I'm concerned of Once Human, I'm only 4 tracks in. I'm going to dig in their back catalog. Doors open for more in the future. I can't wait to hear more. In fact, I think their exploration individually and part of not just the metal side of their music, but in creative theming on lyrics and application of such creative choices on vocal stylings and musical structure, it's really taken me, for a fun ride. I figured I would have that type of experience with Lauren Hart. Just, again, her being my point of entry with this. And I've been entertained thoroughly. I can't wait to hear more in the future in terms of Once Human's evolution. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.